Alan Raymond Marshall, on this indictment you are charged on 12 counts. On the first count you are charged with theft contrary to Section 1 of the Theft Act 1968. And the particulars are that between the 4th and 11th June last in Fulchester, you stole £150 in cash, the property of the Gladys Gladstone Morgan Memorial Trust. To this count, how say you? Are you guilty or not guilty?
No, definitely not guilty. No.
And on the second count, you are similarly charged with theft, and the particulars are...
The case you are about to see and the characters portrayed are fictional, but the procedure is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public.
Susan.
Good morning, Mrs. Stanley.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
The Trust now has assets in excess of £4 million and an annual income from them of just over £250,000 a year. Now, ever since it was established, members of the jury, the Foundation has always had a direct descendant, and always a female one, of the original founder as one of its trustees. Indeed, the founder's own
terms of the founder's will that it should always be a female descendant, Mrs. Forrest?
With respect, Your Honour, I doubt if, however emphatically the clauses in a will are drawn up, they can ensure unbroken generations of female children.
Yes, quite. Mrs. Forrest?
Your Honour, I was about to say, members of the jury, that the founder's granddaughter, the Honourable Mrs. Helen Stanley, is a most active trustee. She participates in both the work of the Foundation and its day-to-day administration. You will be hearing from her in a few moments, members of the jury. She is a most important witness for the prosecution.
Mrs. Stanley, please.
Is it here then?
Sorry?
The Alan Marshall thing, the case. Is this where we wait?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. Aren't you... You're Jean Driver, aren't you?
Yeah, Jean Driver, yeah.
Mrs. Stanley, you are you not, the granddaughter of Gladys Gladstone Morgan, the original founder of the Trust?
Yes, I am. That is correct.
And for how long have you been a trustee?
I've been a trustee for 30 years, together with my mother... Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been a trustee for 30 years.
Yes, please add something if you wish, Mrs. Stanley.
Well, I was going to say that I'm the longest serving of the 5 trustees, at least from an active capacity, that is.
Who are the others?
My mother, Lady Florence Watmore, my 2 daughters, Emma and Jessica, and a nominee in the firm of our family solicitors.
Is it a paid position? Do you get a remuneration for it, Mrs. Stanley?
Oh, no.
What are the duties and obligations of a trustee, would you tell us?
The duties of the trustees to see that the resources at their disposal are put to the best possible use in the service of the community, and a statutory obligation to the state which guards the public interest to see that the applicants, the needs of the applicants and the potential beneficiaries are examined and met. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that sounds like a lecture.
When you say to see that the needs of the applicants and beneficiaries are met, do you mean by grants of money to people, to individuals?
Not quite like that, or rather very rarely in that way. On the whole, nowadays, the Foundation gives grants to universities for research projects, or charities, or to other bodies, setting up hostels, for instance. But we do initiate some projects of our own and provide the finance to people for carrying them out.
About how much money does the foundation disperse in grants in, say, a year?
Well, last year it was nearly £250,000.
Oh, a considerable sum. And how is this done? How is the actual handling of it administered?
Well, we have a very modest suite of offices, just 3 rooms and toilet facilities and a staff of 3. About 5 years ago, we decided to employ a qualified psychiatric worker, appointed as case worker. Well, we didn't think in this day and age it was right to leave, social work to the do-gooders, such as myself.
The psychiatric social worker that you have, this is Rebecca Manning, I think that is, isn't it? She is someone from whom we'll be hearing later. And who are the 2 other members of the staff?
Well, there's Susan. Miss Susan Barnes. She's the office secretary.
Who is here to give evidence?
Yes, she's a clerk, really, nothing more, I suppose. Oh, but very efficient and so on. And then there's the correspondent, or general administrator and secretary.
The accused, Mr. Marshall.
Yes.
Who appointed him, Mrs. Stanley?
I did.
And this was what, about 2 years ago?
Almost precisely. When Mr. Purley, our previous general administrator, died.
May we make this absolutely clear? Mr. Marshall was not a trustee, was he?
No, certainly not, no.
Simply an employee of the trust, though one placed in a responsible position.
Yes, it was his job, as correspondent, as it's called, to receive and, well, I suppose what one might call vet applications to the trust for grants of money.
Did he have any say in which applications should be granted? Did he have any influence on that?
Well, no.
You hesitate. Why is that?
Well, in the majority of instances, if he thought an application was, justified in putting before the trustees, by the very nature of the system, that did give him some influence.
Ah, yes, I see. Well, now, Mrs. Stanley, the background to the events which we are concerned with here today, will you tell us something about that, please?
Yes. Well, about 18 months ago, Rebecca, Mrs. Manning, our psychiatric social worker, and Mr. Marshall put forward to me, as a suggestion, a small scheme that they had devised.
They had devised, you say?
Well, that was how it was put to me at the time.
And what was it? What was this scheme?
Well, the suggestion was that to prevent the foundation from becoming completely isolated from reality, it should at least involve itself directly in this one small experiment.
And what exactly was it?
Well, simply to see what happened to a few prostitutes if instead of giving them advice or exhortations about changing their way of life, all we did was, over a period of time, to give them money, nothing else.
And what was the purpose of that?
Oh, to guarantee them a source of livelihood which would prevent them from earning money by prostitution. If, of course, they carried on with that, well, then at least we know definitely that there were other reasons, possibly psychological ones.
What sums of money were to be given? What was the total to be spent?
Well, we envisaged carrying on the experiment for a year with 3 girls, or women, and it was decided to make available to them £75 a week each in cash.
Well, that's a total of £225 a week if there were 3 recipients. And how were those who were to be given it? How were they chosen?
Oh, very carefully. After lengthy discussions and consultations with Mrs. Manning and 2 other social workers, a representative of the police, and myself.
Oh, why a representative of the police?
Oh, well, in our experience, nobody is better qualified to assess whether a person is a full-time prostitute or not.
Did you have any applications direct from prostitutes themselves?
No. We thought that would... Well, it would have caused us to be faced with a great many people claiming to be prostitutes simply for a handout in cash. Oh, no, the selection was very rigid. In fact, we chose only 2.
Ah, so you had, you say, only 2 girls or women who the trust was giving money to each week. How long had that been going on?
Oh, about 8 months. We were still looking for a 3rd person to participate when Mr. Marshall was arrested.
How exactly did the scheme operate? What were the daily or weekly mechanics of it?
Well, we were determined to make it simple and totally unbureaucratic. Every 4 weeks, I would take into the office £600, which I had withdrawn from the Trust's account, and I put it into the office safe, to which only I and Mr. Marshall had a key, and it was his job to give £75 every week to the girls in cash, in their hand.
Did they sign receipts for it?
No, they didn't. Well, what I'm trying to say is, we made no demands on them whatsoever. Well, we didn't even ask for proof that they'd had the money.
And for its implementation, this therefore depended on your faith in the integrity and honesty of Mr. Marshall.
It did, yes.
Which you subsequently found.
To be totally misplaced. Utterly and absolutely. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, I'm so sorry.
Mrs. Stanley, we were all very affected, I'm sure, by that display of your distress.
I don't think that is a very commendable remark, Mr. Lawton.
Your Honour, I was merely going to say I'd no wish, therefore, to add to it unnecessarily.
Yes. Very well.
Your Honour. Now, this scheme of handing out fairly substantial sums of cash to people, did you first discuss whether it should be done with the other trustees?
No, I didn't. My mother, Lady Whatmore, is too old to be bothered with such matters, and as to my daughters, Jessica is married and lives in Australia, and Emma, well, she's up in the north at university. I don't see very much of her.
So it was, in fact, you on your own who took the decision to make the funds available?
Yes, it was.
And it was entirely your idea to appoint the defendant, Mr. Marshall, to the position of general administrator and, what's the word, correspondent?
It was.
Why did you do that, Mrs. Stanley?
Why should I not?
Please answer my questions rather than ask ones of me. Did you choose him from a list of applicants who'd responded to an advertisement?
No, the post was not advertised.
No? His appointment was at your invitation?
Well, I suppose you could say that, yes.
May I ask you again, then, please? Why?
Because I thought he would be very suitable.
You knew, of course. There is nothing we intend to hide, Your Honour. You know that he had been a bankrupt, and in fact it was only just a few months beforehand that he had finally obtained his discharge from bankruptcy.
Yes.
That he had been married and divorced, married a second time, and at the time you met him was separated from his second wife.
Yes.
And yet you thought that he would be a very suitable person to be put in charge of the administration of a trust with an annual income of £250,000.
I appointed him for 2 reasons. 1, because I thought he would be very suitable, and 2, because I thought he needed help in building up his life again.
In building up his life again? Financially?
Yes.
And emotionally?
I'm sorry. I simply don't understand the implication of that question.
Well, let me make it clear, then. Not to put too fine a point on it, you were very quickly infatuated with him.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
And when that infatuation faded, as these things do, you then wanted to be rid of him.
Nonsense. No.
Mrs. Stanley, not long after the defendant began to work for you, did you begin to go into the office every single day of the week?
Merely to help out with the work.
Mrs. Stanley, if my calculations are correct, the most you apparently should have taken into the office by the time of the accused's arrest was approximately £5,000. Isn't that so?
Yes, your arithmetic is correct. But as it happens, I took in £7,200.
Why?
Well, there was just a possibility that I might have to suddenly fly out to Australia, where my daughter Jessica was expecting her first baby, and I decided to put some money in the safe in case it was needed during my absence. Well, as it happened, my daughter miscarried, so there was no need for me to go to Australia. However, I just left the money where it was.
So you were quite happy about the way Mr. Marshall was handling this scheme?
The way I thought he was handling it. I had no idea it was not being put into practice.
What caused you to change your mind?
I received an anonymous letter. Well, not really a letter, just a slip of paper with well, I suppose you'd call it an accusation against Mr. Marshall.
And what did you do with it?
I gave it to the police.
Oh, you didn't ask him to confirm that he had handed the money to the girls as arranged. You just gave the anonymous note to the police, who then sent a woman police sergeant to pose as a prostitute and ask him for money, and a few days later arrested him.
Yes. Yes, I believe that is what occurred, yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Stanley.
No, thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you, Mrs. Stanley.
Susan Barnes, please.
I want a toilet, then I want a cup of tea. God almighty.
Miss Barnes, you are the office secretary, I believe, of the Gladys Gladstone Morgan Memorial Trust.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
How long have you worked there?
5 years. Oh, no, a bit more. 5.5.
You're the longest-serving member of the staff, in fact. You were there when Mrs. Manning, the psychiatric social worker, was appointed, and when Mr. Marshall came.
Yes.
And did you like them? Well, all I meant, Miss Barnes, was there a fairly happy working relationship between the three of you?
Well, yes. I mean, we all thought she was a bit difficult, but we all got on all right, yes.
So there's no reason, for instance, if it were to be suggested, and I don't know whether it will be or not, that there was any bad feeling between you and Mr. Marshall, or between Mrs. Manning and Mr. Marshall. No reason for either of you to want to get him into any trouble.
No, none at all.
What did you think of him, Mr. Marshall?
He was all right. He talks a lot, but he was all right.
Miss Barnes, I want you, if you would, to think very carefully before you answer this question. Did you ever see him take any money from the safe?
No.
Money that he was then going to give to either of the girls, the prostitutes for whom it was intended?
No, I didn't see him ever take any money from the safe, ever, for any reason.
Well, that's very fair of you, Miss Barnes. Did you ever see anyone else take any money from the safe, Mrs. Stanley or Mrs. Manning, say?
No.
And oh, I'm sorry, you were going to say?
Well, I was just going to say I was only the office dog's body. I wouldn't have known anyway who took money out of the safe, or when, or why, or who for. It was in the back room of the three, and I was in the front one always. Now, of course, I didn't have a key myself. I wouldn't have been trusted that far.
And whenever the two girls came to the office, Jean Driver and Mary Blake, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. You're quite sure you never saw the accused take out sums in cash for them when they were there, or in preparation for when they arrived?
Quite sure. As soon as I buzzed through to him in his office, the middle one, that they were there at reception, he always came straight out and hustled them off to have a cup of coffee with him at the cafe over the road, as soon as they arrived. That was all I saw of them.
Miss Barnes, did he ever stay on at the office on his own, of an evening after you'd left?
Yes.
Quite often?
Well, I don't know about quite often, but he did sometimes, yes. About once a week, perhaps twice.
Did he ever tell you why?
He usually said he was expecting someone coming to see him.
Oh, did he ever tell you who that someone was?
No, and I didn't ask him. So that way I could always tell her truthfully that I'd no idea who it was.
Sorry, tell her who? Was someone inquiring?
Her. She was always on at me, asking me to try and find out who it was.
Yes, well, we're not greatly concerned with that, Miss Barnes. So, finally, let me just ask you this. You knew, I think, what Mr. Marshall's salary was, didn't you?
Yes.
No, I don't want you to tell me in figures. Just answer yes or no.
Yes, I did. It was exactly double mine when he started, and then within a few months she put it up so that it was 3 times mine.
What impression did you get of what it was from his standard of living?
Well, I'm afraid it was more like 10 times mine. He was always coming in with new shirts, shoes. He bought himself a brand new estate car, smoked cigars, bought wine by the case, ate out at expensive restaurants, and usually asked me to ring up and book the table for him.
So, all in all, you're saying it didn't seem appropriate to the standard that anyone would have expected on his salary. Did you query him about it?
Well, yes, I did once. Once I said, Alan, do you honestly think you can really afford... Yes, I did query it, about how he could afford to spend so much money.
Oh, what did he say?
Luck.
Luck? Oh, what did he mean by that, did he say?
Well, I took it he meant he was doing well at gambling. He used to back horses a lot.
Ah, I see. Thank you, Miss Barnes.
Miss Barnes, would it be true to say that you feel generally somewhat resentful towards your employer, Mrs. Stanley?
With respect, Your Honour, I really don't see what that can possibly have to do with this witness's evidence. It is, after all, Mr. Marshall who is on trial.
Your Honour, with respect, I was only seeking confirmation of a point which it seemed to me my learned friend herself had brought out in her own questioning. Unwittingly, perhaps, but nevertheless.
Well, Mr. Lawton, so long as it's not too red a herring, you may continue. At least for the time being.
I'm obliged, Your Honour. So, Miss Barnes, would you answer the question, please?
Well, no, I don't feel particularly resentful, no, I don't feel resentful towards her, no.
And Mr. Marshall, what was it you said of him just now? He was all right. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're not a person who's very forthcoming about your feelings, are you?
Your Honour, with the greatest respect, I really do think that the subject of this witness's feelings...
Yes, Mr. Lawton, I feel that you will have to make your point, you know, if you're going to make one.
Your Honour. Miss Barnes, I put it to you that when you said in answer to my learned friend, counsel for the prosecution, that the atmosphere in the office where you worked was all right, and that all of you there got on all right, that was in fact very far from the truth. You didn't yourself like your employer, Mrs. Stanley, as you made abundantly clear, and neither did either of your colleagues, you say. And she was there every day. I am instructed that you didn't like the psychiatric social worker, Mrs. Manning, nor did she much like you. Mr. Marshall didn't like Mrs. Manning. She didn't like him. Now, is that what could be described, as it was by my learned friend, as a fairly happy working relationship?
Look, most offices have...
Miss Barnes, I am not talking about most offices, but I am interested to note that you don't argue with the enumeration of the cross-currents and tensions, or at least some of them. Your Honour, I will now come precisely to the point. Miss Barnes, you know why the police were called in, don't you?
Yes, because of an anonymous letter.
An anonymous letter?
Well, a small piece of paper about that big, and it had typed on it capital letters. Where is the money from the safe going? Why don't you ask him?
You saw it?
No, Mrs. Manning told me what it said.
You never saw it?
No.
Not even, for instance, when you typed it? Yes, Miss Barnes, I am suggesting that you wrote the anonymous note.
That's a monstrous thing to say.
Yes, well, naturally you would say that, but is it true?
No, it's not.
Well, in that case, Miss Barnes, perhaps you would care to explain.
It's not! Do you honestly... Oh, she might. To get her own back because you didn't fancy her, yes, but...
Very well, Miss Barnes. Nevertheless, perhaps you would agree.
Really? We said no strings. All right, that's what we agreed. Yes, it did. It hurt when it finished. But while it lasted, it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And I never dream of after...
Oh, you little bitch.
Silence, please.
The case of the Queen against Marshall will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court.
Want a glass of water? I forgot to take my pills.
The case you are about to see and the characters portrayed are fictional, but the procedure is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public. Yesterday at Fulchester Crown Court, Alan Marshall, the general administrator of a wealthy charity which exists to help prostitutes, has pleaded not guilty to stealing from his employers. The money had been in the office safe, and he was supposed to have been giving weekly sums in cash to prostitutes to assist them in starting a new way of life. But an anonymous letter to Helen Stanley, the principal trustee, accused him of having taken it for himself.
And are you known to the police as, and do you have many convictions as a common prostitute for loitering and soliciting? Miss Driver, how old are you?
Mrs.
Sorry?
Mrs.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, forgive me. How old are you, Mrs. Driver?
25, I think.
How long have you been a prostitute?
10 years.
In that time, have you ever been anything else?
Like what?
Besides being a prostitute?
I've always been other things else besides being a prostitute. I've got 2 kids, so a mother. And I was married, so a wife and a person.
Yes, I'm sorry, I meant, had you ever earned your living by any other means than prostitution?
How could I?
Miss Drive, I'm sorry, Mrs. Drive, you must believe me, I'm not in any sense
sick, you know, ill. In the head. They put me in mental hospital for a bit and I'm all right for a bit. Then they let me out and I cut my wrists or something. Then they send me back. Then they let me out again, so there you go.
Yes, well, thank you, Mrs. Driver. Well, now, I wonder if you would assist us, please, if you would, by trying to answer 1 or 2 simple questions.
You don't have to make them simple. I'm a sick person, you know, ill, not a mental defective.
No, nor did I intend to suggest that at all, Mrs. Driver. So, would you tell us, please, when and how you first came into contact with the Gladys Gladstone Morgan Memorial Trust?
The what?
Oh, yes, forgive me. The charity, the organisation which Mr. Marshall worked for. How did you first come into contact with it?
Through her.
Through who? Whom?
The what's it?
The psychiatric social worker.
Psychiatric social worker, yeah.
Mrs. Manning.
What? No, Driver. Jean Driver.
No, I mean, Mrs. Manning is the psychiatric social worker.
What psychiatric social worker?
The psychiatric social worker that put
Look,
you
don't you
into...
talk to me like that. It's you that's cocking it up, isn't it?
Mrs. Driver, what was the name of the psychiatric social worker who put you in contact with Mr. Marshall's organisation? Do you know?
Yeah, of course I know. Kate Archer.
Kate Archer?
Yeah, Kate Archer. The psychiatric social worker at the hospital.
Oh, the psychiatric social worker at the hospital, I see. She referred you to Mrs. Manning.
I don't know anyone called Mrs. Manning. Why do you keep bringing her into it?
Mrs. Driver, Mrs. Manning is the psychiatric social worker for the charity that the accused, Mr. Marshall, worked for.
Becky? Is that her name? And is she a psychiatric social worker? Well, I never knew that.
Your Honour, I'm sorry this has been somewhat protracted.
No, Mrs. Forrest, that's quite all right. I'm sure we all appreciate your difficulties.
Oh, sure.
Now, Mrs. Driver, you were told, were you, that there was this scheme, this idea of giving certain selected people money in cash to live on, and you were told you were eligible for it?
No, I was not. You wouldn't make much of a social worker. I was told there was this scheme and I was asked to think it over if I'd be interested in it.
And you said yes?
I said no. I wasn't keen on do-gooders and charity.
But you eventually changed your mind?
Newman changed it for me.
I'm sorry, Newman?
My eldest boy is 10.
You talked to him about it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I see. Now, the scheme was you should have a regular payment in cash every week of £75, is that right?
That's what I thought, yeah.
And you were to go to the office every week and Mr. Marshall would give it to you, is that right?
Look, just let me say something else.
No, if you don't mind, Mrs. Driver, if you would just
It wasn't
answer
put to me like that. Not like I get 75 quid a week, 70 quid, or just 5. Just that there'd be money there for me any time I wanted it.
Yes, anyway, Mrs. Driver, did you go to the office every week?
Yeah.
And did you see Mr. Marshall every week?
Yeah.
And did Mr. Marshall give you money?
No, never.
Never?
No.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Driver.
Mrs. Driver, when my learned friend asked you if you had a large number of convictions as a common prostitute, you said yes, you had. How many convictions have you? About just roughly 10? 50? 60?
No, more like 200, I suppose.
200. Uh-huh. And when you were charged, did you plead guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Always, every time?
Yeah.
And were you always found guilty?
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Driver, on 200 occasions in a court of law, you lied. You said you were not guilty when you were.
Ha ha.
Mrs. Driver, you have just this
Oh,
moment
come off. It's a
admitted-
game, isn't it? And one your lot makes the rules for. When you plead not guilty, all you're saying is go on then, prove it, that's all. It's your idea people have to make a plea, but why do they have to be called liars as well for it?
Mrs. Driver, I put it to you that when you say you did not receive any money from Mr. Marshall, you are lying. You agree?
No, I mean, yeah, I know you put it to me. That's your job.
So you don't agree with me when I put it to you?
No, of course not. You're standing there doing your job and getting paid for it, and I'm standing here telling the truth and getting slagged for it.
I put it to you that on many occasions he gave you cash, sometimes as much as £100.
Yeah, and I'm putting it to you, he didn't. He talked about it, yeah, but he never did it.
Yes, well, thank you, Mrs. Driver.
Do you wish to re-examine Mrs. Forrest?
No, thank you, Your Honour.
You may leave the witness box, Mrs. Driver.
Oh, Tar.
I call Mary Blake.
Mary Blake, please.
What is your religion?
Oh, Christian.
CV?
Yeah, all right.
Take the testament in your right hand and please say aloud the words on the card.
I promise. I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Would you tell the court your full name, please?
My full name?
Please.
Mary Elizabeth Isabel Georgina Violet Amanda Teresa Joan Sandra Marion Margaret Blake. I've got 8 aunties.
Oh, yes, thank you. And is it Miss or Mrs. Blake?
Oh, Miss?
Thank you, Miss Blake. And where do you live?
Well, sometimes in prison, sometimes in hostels, furnished bedsits, sometimes in different flats with different fellas, sometimes nice places, sometimes a bit rough, just depends, you know.
Where are you living at the moment, Miss Blake?
Well, I think perhaps I better not say if you don't mind.
Yes, I'm afraid we do, Miss Blake.
You see, he's a Whig.
I beg your pardon?
He's a barrister. But you see, his wife doesn't know anything about it.
Mrs. Forrest, I don't think it essential to give too much time to this. Could we pass on? Miss Blake, are you still living at the address you gave the police when they interviewed you about this matter?
Yes.
Your Honour. Miss Blake, do you have a number of convictions for soliciting?
Well, I do, yes. Actually, yes.
And do you know Mrs. Manning, the psychiatric social worker at the charity, the trust? Becky, I think you know her as, perhaps?
Oh, at the Glad Old Gladys place? Oh, yes, I know her very well. We're mates.
And did she, some 12 months ago, or a little more, did she tell you about a scheme they were going to set up to try and help people such as yourself?
What? Girls on the game, you mean? Yeah, she did.
Briefly, what was it? What was this scheme?
Well, actually, it all sounded a bit too good to be true. You see, they were going to give people money. Well, about £75 cash or something, so that they could have it to live on, so they could come off the game.
Were you going to be one of those people?
Well, Becky said I could be if I wanted to.
And did you say you wanted to?
Of course, yeah.
And what were you supposed to do to get the money?
Go to the office once a week and see him, Alan, and he'd give me it.
And did you go to the office once a week?
Yes, I did. I always did.
And saw Alan, Mr. Marshall, the accused over there?
We used to go and have a cup of coffee and a chat at the cafe opposite, yeah.
Anything else?
No, just a cup of coffee and a chat. I mean, in a cafe.
No. What I meant was, did he give you anything? Did he give you money?
Oh, no.
Did he give you any explanation as to why not?
Oh, no. But I mean, I never asked. I mean, I didn't expect it. I mean, not really, did I?
Thank you, Miss Blake.
You're welcome.
No, would you stay there, Miss Blake, please?
Yes. Beg pardon, sorry.
Miss Blake, these convictions you have had for prostitution, when you were charged with them, did you plead guilty or not guilty?
Well, guilty.
Always?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I was, wasn't I?
Now, Miss Blake, you're asking us to believe, are you, that in all the times you went to see Mr. Marshall, 20 or 30 or however many it was, that on none of these occasions he ever gave you any money?
No, I'm not asking you to believe it. Not if you don't want to.
But you say it's the truth.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
And you're also expecting us to believe, apparently, that even though you've been told by your friend Mrs. Manning, the social worker, that there'd always be as much as £75 a week available for you in cash whenever you wanted it, you never asked Mr. Marshall about how it was you weren't getting it?
No.
Did you raise the subject with Mrs. Manning? Ask her how it was that you weren't getting any money?
No.
Why? Why not? I'm sorry, I don't know what that means.
Well, I told you. I never believed it, really.
Miss Blake, coming from a person like you, it is hard to accept that you would be quite so unconcerned about it.
Listen, Blue Eyes, when you've been at it as long as I have, you know there are only two sorts of people. The bad ones and the not-so-bad ones. But either way, it's best never to believe anything anybody tells you about anything. Any time. You know, just like you in your game, right?
Hello, Mrs. Manning. I'm Detective Sergeant Brenda North.
Yeah. I know perfectly well who you are, thank you.
I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. 409, Brenda North, Detective Sergeant, Fulchester Police C Division, Your Honour.
You're a plainclothes policewoman, Sergeant North.
I've been attached to the CID since I was made sergeant 2 years ago, Your Honour.
May I take you back to incidents which occurred in February or March of this year? Or, well, to make things absolutely clear, perhaps we'd better go back a little earlier than that. You are familiar, are you, Sergeant, with the work of the Gladys Gladstone Morgan Memorial Trust?
I'm very familiar with it, Your Honour. A close colleague of mine is police liaison officer on the Trust Case Conference Committee, and we often discuss her work together.
This is the committee which chose the prostitutes for the scheme the Trust was going to run?
That is so, yes.
And did you yourself, in fact, nominate one of the two ladies who were involved?
I suggested Mary Blake to my colleague, policewoman Hanson, yes.
Oh, presumably because you knew her as a prostitute and had arrested her yourself on occasion.
On a number of occasions, yes.
Did you know the Honourable Mrs. Helen Stanley, the trustee who ran the trust?
Not until I met her through my colleague, policewoman Hanson, no.
And this was in February, March, was it?
That is so, yes.
Would you tell us, please, under what circumstances?
Policewoman Hanson asked me to accompany her one evening to see Mrs. Stanley at Mrs. Stanley's house.
And this was an unofficial visit?
It was, yes.
And what transpired?
Mrs. Stanley was very upset. She'd asked to see me because she wanted to show me something and ask my advice about it.
And that something was...
Your Honour, I really must protest. This, I anticipate, is hearsay of the most objectionable kind.
Yes, Mr. Lawton, but you rendered it admissible by your cross-examination, Mrs. Stanley. Yes, Mrs. Forrest.
Your Honour. There's something being a piece of paper with words typed in capitals on it.
That is so, yes.
Would you tell us what the words were?
Your Honour? On the piece of paper was typed, "Where is the money from the safe going? Why don't you ask him?"
In due course, as a result of having seen Mrs. Stanley, what did you do?
At the request of my superior officer, Detective Chief Inspector Granville, it was decided that I should approach the accused, Mr. Marshall, pretending myself to be a prostitute, and ask him for money from the fund. He arranged to meet me the following day at his office and have a chat.
Which you did?
He took me to the cafe across the road for a coffee.
And what transpired there?
He gave me brief details of the scheme, said there was money available in cash and that I might be eligible for it. He said if he put my case forward, I'd stand quite a good chance.
If he put your case forward, was there any kind of implication in that?
A very clear one, yes.
And what was it?
That if I went to bed with him, he would put my case forward.
And what was the outcome?
I reported it to my superiors and he was arrested, I believe, the following day.
Thank you, Sergeant North.
Sergeant, to deal first with the last thing that you said, are you telling us the accused said just what you say he said? Bluntly, in those words, if you go to bed with me, I'll put your case forward.
Not exactly in those words, no.
Well, will you tell us in exactly what words, please?
I believe he said, "If you play your cards right, darling, I can help you a lot," or something like that.
Why should you take that as a clear implication that he wanted you to go to bed with him?
Because of the tone it was said in. accompanied by a suggestive wink, plus the fact he put his hand across the table on top of mine.
Well, do tell us. What did you reply?
I said, it'll cost you.
You were posing as a prostitute, of course. Anyway, what was his response to that?
He laughed and said, oh, we'll have to see how it goes, or something like that.
When you went back and reported he'd made this advance to you, to your superior, was Mrs. Stanley there? I mean, in the Chief Inspector's office?
She was, I believe, yes.
So she knew, did she, that you were going to see Mr. Marshall and was waiting for your return and your report in her friend, the Chief Inspector's office?
No, you need not answer that question, Sergeant. As I'm sure, Mr. Lawton, you are well aware.
Your Honour. Well, Sergeant, let us pass on to something else. The piece of paper with the anonymous accusation against the accused, Mr. Marshall, did you take possession of it from Mrs. Stanley?
No, I did not.
Oh, why was that?
Well, Mrs. Stanley was very upset. She'd received the letter only the previous day at her home in the post. And, well, to be honest, my advice to her at first was to destroy the letter and forget all about it, which she did. She tore up the letter and the envelope and threw them on the fire.
But she didn't forget all about it?
No. In about an hour, she'd changed her mind again and said that policewoman Hanston and I should go and tell Detective Chief Inspector Granville that she would come in the following day to his office and see him. It was after that that it was decided I should go and see the accused.
Did anyone else know about this little charade you were about to perform?
Mrs. Manning, the social worker, knew, I believe.
You know Mrs. Manning knew and did not approve of the deception.
I've no idea what Mrs. Manning thought.
Sergeant, Mrs. Manning told you in no uncertain terms what she thought of such a stunt.
She may have said something about it. I really don't remember.
You really don't remember? Well, doubtless, Sergeant, we shall have to be satisfied with that.
No further questions, Your Honour.
Thank you, Sergeant. Perhaps this may be a suitable moment to adjourn for luncheon.
When I was at Runnymede Mental Hospital, and then just under 5 years ago, I applied for and got my present job with the Gladstone Morgan Memorial Trust.
So, as well as being a qualified professional psychiatric social worker, Mrs. Manning, it would also be true to say that you are a widely experienced one.
Fairly. Well, I suppose so, yes.
And exactly what was the job with the Trust?
I'm sorry to say I've been coming increasingly to the conclusion that it's largely window dressing. To give it a more up-to-date image, I do very little actual casework.
Mrs. Manning, we may as well have this out in the open immediately to save my learned friend any worry. Did you approve of Mr. Marshall's appointment?
I thought it should have been advertised and that the rest of the staff should at least have been consulted, since we were the ones who were going to have to work with him. But once Mrs. Stanley made up her mind about something...
Though I think, in all fairness, Mrs. Manning, it has to be said she also appointed you.
I was interviewed by a panel consisting of the late Mr. Stanley, Mrs. Stanley herself, a representative from the family solicitors, and Mrs. Stanley's daughter, Jessica, who's in Australia now. I believe the idea of having a PSW actually came from her.
Yes, well, perhaps it would be as well if we moved on to events some 18 months ago, when this scheme of giving cash to prostitutes was first put forward. Whose idea was it? Basically, I mean, this somewhat extraordinary suggestion of making money available to prostitutes to live on if they wish.
Basically, it was my suggestion, but it wasn't originally my idea.
I'm sorry, could you elaborate on that a little?
The idea first evolved at a conference I attended a year or so beforehand. Psychiatrists, doctors, social workers and so on. And afterwards, I talked about it to local hospital doctors and local authority social workers, and eventually I talked to Mr. Marshall about it.
Or why particularly Mr. Marshall?
Oh, I knew his support was essential if I was to get the Trust's and Mrs. Stanley's approval for it.
And did he support the idea?
Yes. Eventually we put it forward together.
Was it altered in any way, the scheme, I mean?
Yes, it most certainly was.
Well, in what way?
Principally in what might be called accountability. I was not at all happy at the idea of money being given out at random, as and when asked for. My idea was it should be paid regularly on a monthly basis.
Mrs. Manning, whose idea was it? Now, you appreciate this is very important. That there should be this, well, non-existent control system over the money.
I think... No. I'm sorry, I really don't know.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Manning.
Mrs. Manning, you don't like the accused, Mr. Marshall, very much?
No, I don't particularly like him, no.
And never have done since he came to the Trust, because he was appointed to a position above you?
Well, no, because he wasn't. He was an employee, just as I was. His job was administration, mine was social work.
Would you be prepared, then, to say why you didn't like him?
Well, perhaps I was being unfair to him, but I thought he should have stood up more to Mrs. Stanley.
Is that all?
Sorry, I don't think I quite...
Mr. Lawton, is this really relevant?
With respect, Your Honour, was it not also, Mrs. Manning, because you were jealous of his affair with the office secretary, Miss Barnes?
I didn't know he had an affair with Miss Barnes.
Did he not tell you so himself?
Not as far as I... Oh, no, now I come... He might have hinted at it, I suppose, yes. But I discounted it. Like large numbers of middle-aged men, he's under the impression he's irresistible to women.
Mrs. Manning, not to put too fine a point on it, you would have liked to have had an affair with him yourself.
What?
You deny that?
I'm so sorry, yes.
Mrs. Manning, you are divorced yourself, are you not?
Yes. Oh, I really resent that.
Resent what, Mrs. Manning? You've already shown yourself capable of most ungenerous sentiments, haven't you, towards your employer, Mrs. Stanley? So you really shouldn't complain if one or two assertions are made about you, especially if they're true. However, may I now go on and deal with something else, please? The prostitute, Miss Blake, would have us believe that having been told a weekly sum in cash of up to £75 would be available for her whenever she wanted it, she would then allow a period of many months to pass without telling you, her social worker, whom she described as one of her mates, without telling you that she was not getting any money. Is that so, that she never mentioned it to you?
Yes. She never did mention it, no.
Some people, most people, I am sure, would find that scarcely credible.
Miss Blake never volunteered much information about herself.
And you never raised the subject, asked her what she was spending the money on, where she was living, how much the rent was, and so forth.
That was the basis of the scheme. That there were to be no questions asked at all. I myself was not happy about it, as I've already said, but those were Mrs. Stanley's instructions.
Now, finally, Mrs. Manning, the anonymous note with the accusation on it against the accused, Mr. Marshall. When did you first see that?
Mrs. Stanley showed it to me in the office on the morning she received it in the post.
And that was the first time you'd ever seen it?
Yes.
Are you absolutely sure about that?
Yes.
Very well. Thank you, Mrs. Manning.
Mrs. Forrest, do you...
No, thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you then, Mrs. Manning.
That is the case for the prosecution, Your Honour.
Mrs. Forrest?
Your Honour, I will be calling only one witness, the accused himself, and that is what I now do. Mr. Marshall, would you go into the witness box, please?
The case of the Queen against Marshall will be concluded tomorrow when the jury reaches its verdict in the Crown Court.
I do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
The case you are about to see and the characters portrayed are fictional, but the procedure is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the general public. Alan Marshall is charged with taking money from the office safe of a charity of which he is the general administrator. He was supposed to have been giving weekly sums in cash to assist prostitutes in starting a new way of life, but both of them have denied ever having received any money at all from him. An anonymous letter revealed the money was missing.
Mr. Marshall, you are accused of having stolen a total of £5,400 from your employers. Did you?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you ever take any cash out of the safe?
Yes, I did.
For what purpose?
Every week I took out £75 in cash and gave it to Jean Driver, and every week I took out £75 in cash and gave it to Mary Blake. I did this each week without fail over a period of 8 months, as I was supposed to.
Mrs. Driver and Miss Blake have both denied that you ever gave them any money at all. Ever. Are they telling the truth?
No, sir, I'm afraid they're not. They're telling absolute lies.
Do you have any idea why they should say that?
Obviously because they don't like me, and obviously because they are the sort of women that they are.
Now, Mr. Marshall, it was at your own request, wasn't it, that at the beginning of this case, no attempt was made to hide the fact that when Mrs. Stanley appointed you as general administrator of the trust of which she is the main and most active trustee, it was only a short time after you'd obtained your discharge from bankruptcy?
Yes, it was at my request.
And regarding that bankruptcy, Mr. Marshall, how did you obtain your discharge?
By satisfying the official receiver that I'd made great efforts to pay off all my creditors, and nearly all in full.
At the time when you met Mrs. Stanley, had you been having, for a long time, very great difficulties in your life?
Yes, I had. 2 marriages had broken down. My son, by my first marriage, died after a protracted illness. I'd been building up debts and had been drinking, and to be honest, my whole life had been a total mess for almost 10 years, I think. I was just beginning to come out of it when we met.
She appeared as a benefactor who was going to help you continue to get back on your feet.
Yes, and I was very... And I'd like to say that I still am very, very grateful indeed to her.
Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Stanley feels that you have let her down very badly and betrayed her trust in you.
Yes, I know she does, but she's quite wrong. I haven't. I may not have been all the things she would like me to have been, but...
Do you wish to elaborate on that?
No, I don't wish to, but I think I have to. I think Mrs. Stanley would have liked our personal relationship to have been closer than it was. That's the only reason I can think of for her extraordinary behavior.
Extraordinary in what way?
Calling the police in, not even asking me about it. Just doing it like that after getting an anonymous letter. It was a terrible blow to think that she could. I've been thinking about it every night in prison these last few weeks, and I still really can't quite believe it that she did.
You've been thinking about it while you've been in prison waiting to come up for trial, you mean?
Yes, I wrote to her and asked her to come and see me in prison and talk about it, but she didn't reply. Susan said she thought it must have meant that she couldn't face me.
Susan?
Oh, I'm so sorry, my secretary, Miss Barnes. She came twice to see me in prison.
Uh-huh. Well, now, Mr. Marshall, to turn to Miss Barnes, you heard her say when she gave evidence something which sounded very damaging, that your standard of living appeared to her to be far in excess of what she felt you could possibly afford on your salary. She mentioned you always buying clothing, I think, a large new car, eating out at expensive restaurants.
Yes, she did say that.
And she said the only explanation you gave her was that you'd been lucky, which she took to mean in gambling on horse races. Was that so?
What, that I won the money gambling? No. And that wasn't what I meant by being lucky.
Will you tell us what you did mean?
I meant that, well, I don't really want to say this, but I meant that I'd been lucky in meeting someone who, well, to be quite honest, was very wealthy and perpetually giving me presents and money. Even the car, for instance, was a present.
But you didn't want to give that explanation to Miss Barnes?
No, I knew she was, well, fond of me, and I didn't want her to be hurt. But I think she found out, and that was what made me think it must have been her that sent the anonymous note about me to Mrs. Stanley.
Now, could we go on, please, and deal with the evidence, I think I might almost say the curious evidence of Detective Sergeant North, the policewoman who came to see you posing as a prostitute and asking you for money. Is her account of what transpired between you substantially correct?
Oh, yes, it's entirely accurate. She obviously has a very good memory, if nothing else.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Marshall?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, of course, she obviously is without so much as an atom of a sense of humour.
Why do you say that?
Because it's so ludicrous, isn't it? That I should seriously behave in the way that she suggested. I didn't know, of course, that she was a policewoman, but I did know she wasn't a prostitute. I'd never seen such an unconvincing impersonation of one in my life. And it's part of my job to deter direct approaches from pretenders, of which I may say we have about 3 each week, every week. And that's what I was doing. I was sending her up, pulling her leg. And surely that's obvious. I mean, you don't make unsubtle, hints to prostitutes about wanting them to go to bed with you. And it's their job, it's their work. You just ask how much. I mean, surely it's obvious. I mean, why should I need... No, honestly. Really.
Well, now, Mr. Marshall, the evidence of Mrs. Manning, the psychiatric social worker, she said, you will remember, she was most unhappy about the lack of control over the way the money was handled. She seemed to infer, put it no more strongly than that it was really your idea to have the arrangement so free and easy, with the intention, or so the implication seemed to be, that you could then help yourself to it. Was it your idea?
Well, you know, at the beginning, yes, I think it was. When Mrs. Manning and Mrs. Stanley and I first got together to discuss it, Mrs. Manning was her usual, rather earnest social worker herself. I was always pulling her leg about the phrases she used when she talked, like highly motivated and self-selecting and accountability, all that kind of jargon. I'm afraid that, like a lot of professional women, she takes herself rather too seriously for my liking. And I think, on that occasion, I said something to the effect that how nice it would be if, for a change, we could have a scheme with no strings attached to it at all. And Helen, Mrs. Stanley, was immediately enthusiastic, and that's how it all came about. But there are two things...
Yes, I'm sorry. Please carry on.
Well, there are 2 points that I would like to make rather strongly, if I may. The first is that this whole scheme of having cash in the office safe to give out to girls when it was first originally put up to Mrs. Stanley, I had absolutely no way of knowing whether she would approve of it or not. As it happened, she did. And although, as I say, it was my idea to have no strings, I hadn't particularly meant having the money there lying around. So there is no way that the scheme could be part of a carefully thought-out plot on my part to get my hands on the cash. No way at all.
Well, I think that's a most valid point, Mr. Marshall. I'm sure the jury will keep it very much in forefront of their minds. You said, did you not, there were 2 things you'd like to say. What was the other?
Yes, I'm very conscious that this isn't a very nice sounding point to have to make, but I do think I have to make it in sheer necessity of my own defense. You see, the suggestion was that I help myself to cash out of the office safe and thereby put myself at great risk of detection. Because as soon as it was found to be missing, obviously I was going to be the first person to be suspected. Well, so I'm afraid then that I do have to say this. But the way things were, if I'd needed or wanted a few extra thousand in the funds of the Gladys Gladstone Morgan Memorial Trust, I could have got it. There was absolutely no need for me to even start thinking of ways to steal it.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall.
Mr. Marshall, before I begin my cross-examination in depth, may I just ask you something?
Yeah, yes, of course. Anything.
Do you think you're going to be found guilty?
No, I'm absolutely sure I'm not.
Yes, that was certainly the impression I have. That you absolutely have no idea, have you, of the very great trouble you're in. So I shall have to make it plain to you, shall I not? Mr. Marshall, only you and Mrs. Stanley had keys to the office safe.
Yes, that's right.
So if you're not responsible for the missing money, there is only one other person who could be.
No, I'm not saying that about Mrs. Stanley. That would be very unfair.
Oh, you don't wish to be unfair, you say, about Mrs. Stanley. But you've already made several grossly distasteful implications about her. Why are you suddenly so courteous?
Well, I'm sure you'll appreciate, madam, that where a lady is concerned, no gentleman really
Mr. Marshall, we are not here to debate whether you are a gentleman. But one thing I do assure you is that I am not a lady. So may we proceed with that clearly understood? First of all, answer some questions, please, about your behavior with the woman police sergeant who came to see you posing as a prostitute. If you knew at once from your wide experience, as you say, that she was an imposter, why did you take her out for coffee and a chat? Why didn't you tell her immediately you knew she was fraudulent? Or alternatively, tell her that you would have to see the psychiatric social worker?
It was nothing. It was just my way. To be honest, it amuses me when women pretend...
A lot of things seem to amuse you, Mr. Marshall, so far as women are concerned. Your affair with Miss Barnes. Your awareness, or so you say, that any time you wanted it, you could have a few extra thousand from Mrs. Stanley. The earnest taking herself too seriously of Mrs. Manning. You obviously have a high opinion of yourself in every way so far as the opposite sex and your dealings with them are concerned.
Oh, look. All my life, all the greatest pleasure I've ever had has come from women. To me, they have been a perpetual source of
yes,
joy
well,
and
shall
delight.
we just concern ourselves with this case rather than with your self-congratulatory, patronising attitudes? Now, Jean Driver and Mary Blake, tell us, please, Mr. Marshall, why they should lie and flatly insist that they have never had any money from you.
Well, as I said, I don't know. Except they don't like me.
Well, I wonder why that could be. But you also said something else, didn't you? You said it was also obviously because they were the sort of women they are. What did that mean?
Well, I mean, surely.
Oh, because they're prostitutes, they're incapable of telling the truth. Because they are what they are, they shouldn't be believed. Yes? Well, are you going to tell us which?
You're twisting my words.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm just quoting them. Well, let us go on. And just to make sure you can't make the same complaint yet again, let us have it absolutely clear. You are saying, are you, that over a period of some 8 months, you gave them each in cash a total sum in the region of £2,700?
Yes.
Thank you. Where?
I'm sorry, I don't quite follow you.
Where did you give it to them?
When they came to see me.
Mr. Marshall, listen carefully to what I ask you, please. I did not say when did you give it to them. I said where.
Sometimes when they came to see me in the office, and sometimes when we went out for a cup of... I mean, all sorts of different places.
Oh, no one ever saw this occur.
Well, a gentleman does have... Anyone does have to be discreet in dealings with women. With anyone, with people.
Oh, so discreet, you run the risk of ending up in the situation you're in now. Depending on your word being accepted in preference to theirs, even if they are, as you say, women of their sort.
Well, yes, I suppose, yes, it does come down to that.
Indeed, it does, Mr. Marshall. And it never occurred to you what jeopardy you were placing yourself in with them?
To be quite honest, it didn't.
Because they are only women of a certain sort. And because you thought with them and all the other women you worked with and for, you could lie and cheat and play on their feelings and then rely on your charm to extricate you from the consequences.
Look, do I have to put up with this?
Yes, Mr. Marshall, you do. Now, earlier on, when you were replying to questions by your own counsel, you managed to slip in, and I use the term advisedly, since it had nothing whatsoever to do with the evidence you were giving, you managed to slip in the fact that Miss Barnes had been to visit you twice while you were in prison. The impression you seemed anxious to create was that she still had some residual feeling for you. Is that not so?
I certainly hope so, just as I have...
Miss Barnes came to see you in response to 2 urgent letters from you, pleading that she should do so, so that you could, I believe the phrase you used was, explain everything.
No, it wasn't like that at all. She came because she wanted to see me, obviously.
Are you saying that it was not at your request? No, don't look at her. Just look at me, Mr. Marshall, will you?
Yes, it was at my request, but she wouldn't have come if she didn't want to.
And did you make an offer to her when she did come?
Offer? I'm sorry, I don't understand.
You told her, did you not, that if she would not give evidence for the prosecution at this trial, you would reward her, as you saw it, with marriage?
Good God. Is that what she says?
Well, what do you say, Mr. Marshall?
No, it's nonsense. No, it's absolute rubbish. I mean, she was certainly very keen to marry me, but I was by no means at all keen to be married for a third time.
Now, earlier, when Miss Barnes asked you how you could afford to spend so much money, which you haven't denied spending, your explanation to her was that you'd been lucky. This, you now say, meant that you'd met a very wealthy person who was perpetually giving you presents and money.
Yes, and that's true.
Well, I'm sure I hardly need to. But may I ask the sex of this very wealthy person?
Well, it was a woman, yes.
Ah, yes. And are we to see and hear her give evidence confirming that she was a source of your increased income?
No, it's not possible.
Oh, well, will you tell us her name, then? Who she is, so there can be some chance of verifying what you say.
No, look, I don't really want to say this. It's not something I'm very proud of, but, well, she's a titled person and she's married, and I don't want to drag her into it.
Well, I would advise you to, Mr. Marshall, to save your skin. If she exists.
It does exist.
Did she come and see you while you were in prison awaiting trial? Did you invite her to come and see you in prison and tell her that you were desperately going to need her help?
I told you she's married. She couldn't, not without attracting a lot of publicity. It just was not possible for her.
Well, I'm sure His Honour would not object if you wrote her name down on a piece of paper for us. As you said yourself, when referring to Mrs. Stanley's feelings for you. You regretted having to do it, but it was in sheer necessity for your own defence. Well, let me make it plain, Mr. Marshall, that another such moment has arrived for you to give information in sheer necessity. Well?
No. It's over. I'm not going to drag her into it.
What's over, Mr. Marshall? Your pretense?
No, I know you won't believe me. But I do get entangled. Over and over. All my life I have. I've tried to have a proper... I've hoped the relationship would... I'm not just a philanderer. I mean, every time I think, perhaps this time it's true, perhaps this time it's going to... I mean, 2 marriages. My God! You think I don't want not to be like I am?
I have no further questions, Your Honour.
Do you wish to re-examine Mr. Lawton?
No, thank you, Your Honour.
Mr. Marshall, would you now please go back to the dock? So, that is the law, ladies and gentlemen. Now, after those able speeches by counsel for the prosecution and the defence, I would like to say something about the facts. There have been times during this case, I'm sure, when you must have felt as I did, as one feels when beginning to do a jigsaw puzzle. A mound of apparently quite unrelated pieces is there in front of you, with no sort of picture visible which will include them all. At best, you're shown as many pieces of the jigsaw as have been possible to find, and then the prosecution invites you to fill in the blank spaces in your own mind and see this picture, and then the defence tries equally hard to persuade you that you do not agree with that picture which the prosecution wishes you to accept. And it is the great virtue of our system of justice that the defence does not have to persuade you into seeing some other sort of picture. It is sufficient merely to demonstrate that the prosecution has not succeeded. That is all. Now, irrespective of what you may or may not feel about any failings by Mrs. Stanley, the accused is alleged to have taken money which was not his. And if the prosecution has satisfied you that he did, and he did so dishonestly, then you must not allow your verdict to be affected by any other matters. Similarly, both the prosecution and the defence have consistently referred to the subject of whether Mrs. Stanley was and is, or wasn't and isn't, infatuated with the accused. Whether that is true or not, she is not on trial for it. She is in no way to be condemned for her feelings. Now, you may feel, as was suggested by the policewoman, that there is more than the theft of money involved. Again, that is not the issue. That is not what you have to decide. You will, however, I am sure, have been as forcibly struck as I was by something that does concern the case. Namely, that obviously whoever sent that note drawing suspicion upon the accused must have suspected that money was being misappropriated. But how could they know that, members of the jury? Is it that Mrs. Stanley wrote it herself so that she could show it to the police as a reason for wanting action to be taken? Or is it a possibility that the accused himself wrote it? Well, such a thing is not entirely unheard of, although, of course, his motives for taking such an action could be a matter for endless speculation. Or do you feel that perhaps a third person, Miss Barnes, has been suggested, somehow knew that money was being stolen? Well, I'm sure that in this, as in all other matters, your common sense will prevail and you will decide what is the most likely, or, for that matter, unlikely thing to have happened. And you will keep in your mind only the question of whether the guilt of the accused has been proved to you or not. Now, finally, let me say a few words to you about him. About the accused, Mr. Marshall. It could be said that because he had been a bankrupt, he had therefore demonstrated that he was likely to be responsible with money. But equally, you could say that because he had obtained his discharge from bankruptcy and paid off nearly all his debts, that showed he'd worked hard to change his ways. Well, members of the jury, I'm sure you will give all these matters the weight you think they deserve. So will you now retire, elect a foreman to speak for you, and consider your verdict?
The prisoner will stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Please answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you are all agreed?
Yes.
On the first count of stealing £150 in cash between the 4th and 11th of June 1978, do you find the accused Alan Raymond Marshall guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And is this the verdict of you all?
It is.
And on the second count of stealing 100...
Alan Marshall was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment, but is appealing against his sentence. A chance for you to join another jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to watch another case in the Crown Court.